I help someone get revenge on their gold digging ass and so. This happened some years ago, but was just reminded of it, so here you go Reddit. I worked as a front desk agent in a large luxury hotel chain for some years. One particular hotel I worked at was located really close to the downtown area, and so we got a large number of young, very wealthy, business people who loved to party. I usually worked the second and third shifts, which meant I got to see loads of drunken hookups, breakups, cheating, hookers, and more. This particular one though, this is one I will never forget. I was working at the desk when a group of young well-dressed men come walking, and they've all clearly been drinking, but aren't so drunk that they can't walk, write and hold a conversation. One of them comes up to me and tells me that while he and his friends were at the bar, a woman was hitting on him, and even though he told her no multiple times, she wouldn't stop. So he and his friends left, and it wasn't until they got in the Uber that he realized he didn't have his room key anymore. He thinks she took it, and he's concerned that she may come up to his room. He asked that I deactivate his keys, and if she does come up to the hotel, to not let her in. When he was telling me all of this, it didn't sit right with me. He and his friends were all grinning about it and snickering amongst one another. Then he gave a clear description of her, without being asked, told me height, body shape, hair color, and style, the kind of dress she was wearing, all while saying it in a mocking tone. Now, this could have easily been because he thought the whole thing was ridiculous or was too drunk to take it seriously, but it really didn't sound right to me either way. I did as I was trained in that situation. I pulled up his reservation, deactivated the keys as requested, made him a new set when he showed me his ID, and even offered to move him to a new room if that would make him feel more comfortable. He and his buddies all laughed a little at that, and he declined, took the keys, and they went to their room. About an hour or so later, the woman he described showed up. Now, by this point, my relief for the night had also shown up and was sitting at the front desk while I was in the back office counting down my cash drawer. I hadn't had a chance to tell him about the woman. Just as I'm walking out of the back office with my bag and about to leave, I see my coworker buzz the doors open, and the woman comes rushing in, cuts through the lobby and down the hall to the elevator. She was barefoot, holding her heels in her hands, and knew exactly where she was going. I rushed up to him and told him what the man from before had told me about her. My coworker looked at me confused. He then pointed to the screen that had the reservation pulled up and told me that when the woman arrived, she went to use the room keys and they didn't work. So he asked for her room number and last name. She gave both, and her name is on the reservation. I looked at the reservation, and down in the notes, there was a woman's name listed. The man from before was listed as the primary, but her name was listed as secondary with his consent to be in the room. I was confused. I thought maybe she wasn't the same woman he was talking about, but to be on the safe side, I called the man in his room and told him the situation and that we allowed a woman fitting that description he gave to enter the building because she confirmed her name was on the room. He laughed, said he forgot her name was on the room, and asked that I remove it. I was now super confused. I asked to make sure. Me, sir, just to be clear, the woman you met at the bar tonight was with you at check-in hours ago and was allowed keys then, but now she is not. Him, laughs to all his friends in the room. Or what? Guys, I confuse. The poor girl gets back on the phone with me. Yeah, sweetheart, she's banned from the room. Don't worry about the other details. Just take her name off. Me, I see. Then, if she isn't going to be on the room anymore, would you like us to call the police and have her removed from the property? Him, hahaha, whoa, that's too far there. Don't worry, she'll get the hint soon enough. We ended the call there, and I got really suspicious of this. I told my coworker to not do anything, and that I was going to stick around for a bit to see if anything happened. A short time later, the woman came off the elevator, pouring tears, sobbing while on the phone with someone. She sat down in our lobby and my coworker and I tried to look busy while eavesdropping hard on her phone call. She was sobbing on the phone to her mom and sister. From what she told them, she was invited out to spend the week with her boyfriend, meeting all of his old college buddies. This being their first night, they all met up for dinner and drinks. After a bit, she went to the restroom, and when she came back, she caught her boyfriend hitting on another woman. His friends all bet that he wouldn't do it. When she confronted him, pissed off, He called her a bunch of names and humiliated her in front of his friends and the entire bar. All of his friends joined in on mocking her, and he threw in her face that she was nothing without him and dumped her right there. He and his friends then took an Uber back and left her stranded at the bar with no money and no way back. She then had to use her phone's GPS and walk back to the hotel from the bar, barefoot. She had heels, and walking 2 miles in those was not going to cut it. She was asking her mom and sister for help as he wouldn't let her in the room to get her luggage or her wallet. My heart broke. I felt horrible. I helped this guy treat this poor woman like crap, and now he and all his friends were up there laughing at her while she's sitting in our lobby sobbing. And with nothing, I went over to our snacks area in the lobby, grabbed her a bottled water and brought it to her. I told her that I couldn't help but overhear the conversation and was very sorry for her situation and asked if she would like us to help. I informed her that if he was keeping her from getting to her things, we could call the police and have them force him to hand over her things so she could leave if she'd like, or if she wanted to let her mom or sister pay for a room, we'd be happy to give her a very low rate in a room far from him. She thanked me, took the water, and tried to calm down and talk to me about what all was happening and what her options were. Eventually, we decided on her staying in the hotel for the night and figuring out the rest in the morning. As we make it to the desk, she asks me to try and run her credit card to see if it has enough on it for another room. I ask her what she means by another room, and she tells me that she's actually paying for the room he's in, that his name is on the room because he booked it, but it's her card paying for everything. This intrigued me. I asked why she was paying for the room if it was in his name. She told me that she's the one with a job, not him, that he hasn't been able to find a job in his field since graduating from college and is essentially living off of his parents' money. But just after they started dating, his parents cut him off, so he's been living off of her money. That's why she was so upset and confused by how he had been acting all night. He was sweet and doing everything for her back home, but since he met up with his friends he did a 180 and hasn't been the same guy the entire time. I wanted to tell her that it was obvious he was using her for the money and that he would probably blame his friends for all of this and try to get back with her later on, but I doubted she would have listened to me or cared for a complete stranger to butt in on her personal life like that. So instead, I offered up a sweet piece of revenge. I informed her that, considering she's the one paying for the room, if she can confirm that it is her card on file with some sort of photo ID and verify the last 4 digits of the card number, that's honestly all this hotel company required, then she could, if she wanted to, kick him out of the room and keep it all to herself. But considering how poorly her night has been, if she were indeed able to prove she is the one paying for the room, then I'd be more than happy to provide for her the biggest luxury upgrade we offered at our property. Largest suite we had, full hotel amenity access. I'd even have my coworker fish out a bottle of champagne and some fresh strawberries for her to have sent to her room, all free of charge. She was taken aback by the offer and was very sincerely tempted. She looked like she was about to say no. Then I told her that, since she would be upgrading her room, that would require moving her things from that room and into her new one, which mean the room that she is currently listed in would need to be vacated immediately. If anyone were to remain in the room after we have demanded it be vacated, we are required to have them escorted off the property or they pay for the room, their choice. She then thought about it, pulled up her card's banking app and showed me the screen. It had a photo of her full name, the card's full number, and the hold from our hotel for the room. She asked if that worked. It was good enough for me. I quickly upgraded her, moved everything over in the system, and before I could say a word to my coworker he was already grabbing a set of master keys, a bell cart, and was asking her what her luggage looked like, since he would be the one retrieving it for her to deliver to her room. He didn't want her to have to deal with her ex again. She smiled and told him which ones were hers and that she hadn't unpacked yet. My coworker runs down to the elevators and up to fetch her things while I make her a new set of keys and send her off to her new room. Once she's on the elevator, my phone at the desk starts ringing. It's the ex-boyfriend, and he's very angry about why my coworker has entered the room and is taking her things. I calmly explain that I cannot give out the private information of any of our guests and that if he would like to remain in his room he will need to pay for it, as there is no longer a method of payment on his room. He blew up. He's making a ton of demands and at the same time yelling at my coworker to stop what he's doing, but it's obvious from the way he's yelling at him that my coworker isn't listening to him. I can even hear the guy's friends telling him to chill out and just pay for the room. I then explain that we will give him a courtesy 10 minutes to make a decision, at which point, if he doesn't have payment ready, then he must vacate the building or we will be forced to call the authorities and have him evicted. He continues to yell at me. He screams, swears, threatens, and yells for a solid minute before taking a breath. I then tell him he has 9 minutes remaining and asks if he has come to a decision. Yet he hangs up on me. 9 minutes later I call the room and he doesn't answer. I call again. No answer. I call a third time. He picks up, then immediately hangs up. I call the police and tell them what's going on, and they said they're on their way. The officers arrive. I tell them what's going on. We go up to the room together, and the man and his friends are all white as ghosts. When they see the cops explain to the ex-boyfriend and his friends that they are being evicted. The ex-BF starts trying to talk to me, but the cops stop him and tell him to only talk to them. I told him about his attitude on the phone before. The friends are all offering to pay for the room at this point, and the cops look to me and ask if that would be acceptable. I smile very sweetly and say no, and the cops nod and start rushing all of the guys to grab their things and leave the room. The ex-BF is the last one out the door carrying his 2 bags and complaining that he isn't even given a luggage cart and has to carry his own things. His friends all look pissed at him. I go with the officers to escort all of them out of the building and run into my coworker in the lobby. He waits until they're all outside in the parking lot to tell me that the woman is in her new room, loves it, and said no to the champagne. She just wanted to sleep. I didn't get to see her before she left town the next day, but the ex-BF did try calling our hotel to complain a number of times and even tried leaving some bad reviews of us online and lied through all of it. I hope she doesn't have to ever deal with him again. What a despicable little man. Great work. Op, I love you so much. You are amazing at your job. And even though the poor girl was treated so badly, you were there to give her compassion when she needed it. Kudos to you. And the boyfriend was such a gold digging a shat. You gave him the karma people who deserve it wait years for. Silly man. The brothers before hoes rule doesn't apply when she is the one paying for your life. Something about biting the hand that feeds you. I would love it if the BF, his college buddies, and the gal were all Redditors reading this and realize it is about them. If they do happen to see this, I hope the woman met her soulmate at the hotel that weekend afterwards, and the guys remain the losers they were back then. Lovely revenge. BF should have thought this whole thing through before trying to ghost her. You win the internet today. Best story I've read in a long time. You're like a superhero using your superpowers for good. I love a good hotel story, especially when it has a revenge component. Best pro revenge ever. You rock. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Thank you for having that poor woman's back and for kicking her good for nothing loser boyfriend to the curb. Literally. You are the hero that woman deserves. Going beyond the call of duty. This is such a beautiful story. Great job at getting rid of the sob. So wow, he tried to scam her and he stole her things. What a piece of crap. Though there should definitely be some change to protocol that the person paying for the room should be consulted before excluding anyone from said room. Should be simpler than that really. If 2 people are named on the room, both people have access to the room unless one asks to remove themselves. Sweet revenge. Thanks to you and your coworker for helping that woman. Let's hope she's doing fine. I have never hoped so hard for an internet story to be true before. Please let this one be true. I love it so much. You are the best. I just wanted to say that you are a wonderful, wonderful person. That dude is such a pose. Thanks for serving up justice instead of leaving the poor girl stranded. The world needs more people like you who don't just turn a blind eye to things like this. I can guarantee she will remember you for the rest of her life. You are an awesome human. He totally deserved it. That was delicious. You and your co-worker are good humans. Excellent revenge. For someone else. No less. Reading this was like eating candy. This is absolutely fantastic. I hope you or your coworker filled her in on the details of the eviction. She could have used to pick me up of everything turning around on him in the end. Oh, this is beautiful. Did you cross-post this to r/Teles from their front desk? Because we'd love it there too. Bro. Well played, Revenge. Somehow I have an image in my head of this guy as Percy Wetmore, which makes your revenge that much better. Helping someone get revenge, while also staying classy and professional. What a way to do it. All I have to give is a silver, but I'd give you gold if I could. Op, you and your colleague are big damn heroes. The world needs more like you. He and his friends then took an Uber back and left her stranded at the bar with no money and no way back. She then had to use her phone's GPS and walk back to the hotel from the bar. Barefoot, she had heels, and walking 2 miles in those was not going to cut it. She was asking her mom and sister for help as he wouldn't let her in the room to get her luggage or her wallet. If she was the one with a job and the boyfriend was broke, why would she walk back 2 miles to the hotel barefoot instead of just taking an Uber? You call an Uber with the app. No cash is required. 2 miles is 3.22 kilometers. I just want to hug you so tight. You are an amazing person. Definitely not where I thought this story was going. Good on you, Op. I've read this before. That was great. You are awesome. This is the best story ever. 3. You're amazing. Amazing. You went nuclear. I loved every bit of petty in this post. I love this. You handled the situation well. This is music. Sweet. Sweet music. What an absolute buffoon. Thank you for being a hero for the night. This is a great story. Thanks for sharing. Op, you are a rock star. You made sure that turd got tossed out like the trash he is, while that woman got a luxurious upgrade. This would be a great story if not for the unnecessary exaggerations. Okay, so I'm a guy, but if I were a female FD clerk and a guest called me sweetheart, my immediate reaction, in my mind, not out loud, would be you just started digging your own grave, buddy, apostrophe. She has a phone with GPS reception in an area with bars and hotels, so presumably good enough to get some cell signal, also yet chose to walk 2 miles barefoot instead of calling for a car. She's paying for the original reservation, but the credit card or cards she has on her don't have enough available credit to book another room. She can log into her online banking or card provider or whatever to prove her identity, but seems not to have had sufficient funds in her account to pay for a room in cash. Is she actually rich, or just permanently living off maximumed out credit cards? The amount that this didn't happen is incredible. Op needs to work on her creative writing skills. I call B.S. Well crafted tale though. This straight up blew my expectations. NGL. Hope that gold digger thought what he did was worth it, because he got what he paid for. I'm so very grateful that she encountered you that night. What a nightmare it must have been for the poor woman. You definitely carried out the ultimate revenge on that jerk and his posse of friends for her. Cool. Thank you for being an upstanding person. Taught that cunt a lesson. I absolutely do not mean to sound condescending or like an English prof, but you are a great writer. You've given us such a tight vignette of the event. Everyone is distinct, acting within the frame of their character. I love the brothers as Greek chorus. I don't have gold, but a tip of the pen to you. Best revenge ever. It's lovely to hear someone defend a person who has been treated appalling and was at their lowest point. Thank you. You are an angel. Thank you for looking after her. Ex-BFS friends definitely didn't know that she was paying for the room. I would be very surprised if they are still friends. I'm in love. That was super awesome. Good on you, Op. I sincerely hope you helped her realize the massive bullet that she just dodged. I hope you have a splendidly blended day. WTF. Dude is too lazy to work and treats the girl like trash. As a former FD manager, good work and good instincts. Great work. You're a decent human being. Can you elaborate on he tried leaving bad reviews online? This sounds a lot like a neckbeard fanfiction. No, you did not. And that man's name? Albert Einstein. This made me smile. Nice. My only question, was the guy more vinegar and water or more summer's eve fresh scent? Teehee. Comma. Was this in Minneapolis? Well done you! Exclamation mark. Good job. So free room? What a pathetic piece of shit. Good stuff mate. This is my favorite story here so far. You are a good man. If it is real. That was sweet. If I was there I'd tip you so much money for your amazing work. Good job. You are a great person Opus. Justice served with champagne. Delicious story. The nerve of this guy. Not only does he cheats on her, but kicks her out of the room she paid for. Or better said, the lion, the witch and the audacity of this bitch. And those friends are just as bad. I'm glad you trusted your gut up and did everything you could do for this woman. I hope she felt a little better after the whole ordeal. This is really a tale that makes me appreciate people who work in the service industry even more. So often you get treated like crap while watching the walking turds of society at their worst. Despite that, so often, mainly from Reddit, I see examples of real compassion from them. Keep it up. Thanks for making me smile. OHH, the second-hand satisfaction I get through this post is through the roof. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Satisfying story and nice revenge. But judging by the ramifications this isn't really a pro-revenge in my book. Good job Opus. Never mess with the money. And never mess with one that pays for you. I hope he got burned in the reviews when the real story came out. I can't believe he thought he could get away with the weekend with his friends on his ex's money. He deserves everything he gets. Though I'm not that woman, but thank you so much for helping her out, to turn her day around, and to show the bastard his place. I would also want to know which hotel you stayed at, and if ever I can afford it, I will certainly want to come and stay there, alone. May God bless you for having such a golden heart. And my response makes me realize just how hurt I feel because of the several abusive incidents I had to endure in my married life. I wish I had met a few people like you on the way. I feel so bad for the poor woman. Magnificent. If it's true you did a damn fine thing. I know he has an account on here lol. He blew up lol. Nice. This was a great read. Well done. Awesome reading. Thank you Op. And to any woman reading this that currently has a BF living off them without a job, don't travel with the gold digger. He's most likely trash. Oh, this story hurts my heart. Thanks to you and your co-worker for doing right by this woman. Take this applause. You totally deserve it. What you did for that woman was amazing. Well done you. This is so cool. It looks really good. Amazing story. How many days do you think it was before she took him back? Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.